back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And we're here today to talk about the Blues doing the business. 6 points versus Sydney in their first final for a decade in a tight contest. And we learned a lot about these gentlemen this week. We learned a hell of a lot. They did it the hard way. It was a proper final. It was contested. It was tough. It was hard yakka. Swings and roundabouts in that game. It was a real delight to see the mental maturity of these boys when the game was there. Up in the air, particularly in that second half when Sydney showing their finals experience, coming hard. Bit like the first final, Collingwood versus Melbourne. And the mental maturity of these boys has been a real delight. To be 11-0 from winning in the third quarter to seeing games out is a testament to what these boys have achieved and how these boys have developed. And there was a lot of hard work done in that fourth quarter. Jack Martin going down back, taking some sensational marks. Marchbank was much maligned, his inclusion. Cottrell coming out for finals as you would expect with a man who is blue through and through. And there was a lot of takeaways in that game, particularly the crowd noise, the energy. It was a proper final and it was a proper statement from the Blues that they belong. One of the best 6 sides in the league now, officially from where they were 11 weeks ago. Shouldn't be understated. Playing finals was banter talk 11 weeks ago to now be in to a semi. Is it? Well, I mean, it's a semi, isn't it? We call it a semi. Can you call it a semi? Probably not. But to be in a semi, that is absolute tremendous work. And the hard grind, and it's something we said in the previews. What's gone on in the regular season is totally irrelevant when you get into finals. And that was case in point that Carlton's transition game came on show. Carlton's usual dominance around centre clearances wasn't quite there as Sydney flooded them areas. Errol Goulden and Tom Papley being a part to negate that. And it's all about how much you want it. And I keep saying you can't fight destiny. It's one thing that you can't fight. And this is a big thing with the Blues. This is a big thing. This is their birthright. They have earned this. That the journey to where they are now has been long and arduous, and they're reaping the rewards. And it's great to see. Seeing Cripper, Doc kicking the first goal. There's a lot of these moments from these boys that just get you invested. And it's great to see. And the boys work their arse off there. They worked their arse off. The fans were up and about. The players were up and about. And it was tough. It was tough. And the boys got a great baptism of fire to come into the final, and I'm so proud of them, and I think I speak for all you fans. It's great to be a part of this, and the lows we've seen, to see some highs is pretty spiffing, isn't it? And let's look at how this game curtailed. 1.65 kick to handball, back to where you expect Wazze to do. He went big, he went bold, he went contested, he went with bigger bodies and mature bodies for a final, and was proven correct in this game. It's going to be hard yakka, these finals, particularly next week against Melbourne. You're probably going to see more of the same from them. They're going to play their brand, and both brands of football from Melbourne and Carlton are contested, and we're going to see that again. So I expect to see that kick to handball ratio be the same for the next couple of weeks. 3 more weeks of this. 66 tackles, the boys were intent. Their intent around from the opening bounce was a real poignant. And that's when you know Carlton are on. You know, when you're starting to see these closing down. Jesse Motlop is case in point. He came on, he had no touches, but seeing him run around like a man possessed, that is something that is really inherent in 23 men at the moment, that everyone wants a piece of it. They're looking for them bumps. They're looking to physically impose. And you're starting to see a real shift when people play Carlton now. They're trying to prove, can they stack up with us? Where before it was us proving we stack up with them. And that is a huge mind shift. The things these boys will have learnt this season will be that sometimes you can be top on the mountain and only a turn away from being back to hated. Do you know what I mean? They've worked real hard, and 14 tackles inside 50, really case in point. They look to put that pressure around. They look to be hard, and they look to really make a statement. And that rebound 50 rate, defence wins championships, and people talk a lot. Danny Hoyne loves criticising Carlton's transition game, but Carlton's defence is ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can contain and they can take a lot of shit, and that is probably because we're one of the few sides in the finals that have been battered a lot of times. The 6-7 blokes down back have been part of some horrific midfields that have just hemorrhaged inside 50s against, and you can see that they thrive on it. And we'll come to the defenders, but Kemp, Sard, they don't get a direct mention in this video this week. Just a bit of a spoiler when we do the players. But how they drive out the back and how they thrive in adversity is a real testament to them. And 78.3 rebound 50 rate. It's hard to beat a team when they can always negate you. Always negate. And that is a huge strength and a huge asset to the Blues. Marks inside 50 rate. We're starting to see this go down, and that's why I'm kind of excited. Unfortunately, Harry won't be available next week. He's entered concussion protocols. It's going to be interesting because Carlton do look deadly when that ball hits the deck in the forward 50, and that's going to be an interesting factor next week. Harry, 2 goal assists early doors. Everyone's getting on his back. Lay off him. You can see it's affecting him. He's come out and said it's affecting him. He had that concussion. Was he brilliant? No, he wasn't. He took some very important marks down the wing, though, and broke up the play. In another day, he kicks them 2 goals, which he should have done in Carlton, cruising. It's a lesson learned. He'll be good for this experience, though, because we've got to get around him. We've got to get around him. We've got to rally around our boy, Harry. And he's got a job to play. If we're going to win this fucking thing, he's going to have to be a part of it. So, God bless him. But we've got these smalls, and these smalls are looking dangerous, and they're looking like they're deadly at the moment. Plus 26 contested possession. When the game becomes a shitstorm, Carlton come out to play, and that is what I'm excited about finals. It's why I've been bullish of us being in finals, because we are a team that thrives on pressure. We are a team that thrives on the furnace and the battle. We have gladiators, Cripper, Doc, Chera, Walsh. These guys love a fight. George Hewitt, he loves the fight. He loves the scrap. And it's a great privilege to see them go in there. Clearance differential +3. Carlton eventually did wrestle it back. It was a great battle as well. And testament to Horse. He knows how to do it. He flung some of his creative players there to try and negate Carlton's brute strength and ignorance. And it was a great little battle. The 57.9% conversion. Carlton will look at that and say that there was some opportunities out there. But so was Sydney. This is going to be something that really develops as they get in there in the finals. And I was quite impressed. The pressure in a final is totally different to a pressure in round 14 at the G, where it's just 4 points. The pressure's different. And the boys starting to really work their way into it. Some players struggled more than others. But that is something that they're going to be good for the experience. To go out there, blow the cobwebs off, and have one final. I mean, that's a huge thing now. We've got 25 players now playing finals as opposed to 4. So that is a huge little thing. 19.6 goal generation. A little bit low where you'd expect. And TPI, both sides really up on the TPI pressure numbers. Carlton slightly edging it as you would expect. And let's look into the players. And Blake Acres, this guy is becoming almost monotonous with his big plays. And he was as good as you will see a winger's game. That bigger body on the wing is so important, and it's so different. And the 26 touches, the 7 effective kicks, the 570 metres gained, the hard running, and that 21.9 metres gained was really impressive, particularly when Carlton started to come across. We talk about Sydney and that they really flood the midfield, and there was going to be a lot of kicks to contest. He took them bold kicks on. He looked to play them short balls as well, them give and goes, and try and break out into there. And he was sensational. His hard running, though, is a real case in point. And the 2 score launches and the 22 metres gained are just ridiculous numbers for a winger. 6 score involvements, the 4 marks, the 16 pressure acts, the goal. Probably the most important goal he'll kick in his career until he kicks one in the grand final. He was sensational, and Blake Acres is easily the best acquisition last year. People will come and say other players are different gravy. Blake Acres, when you compare it to need, when this time last year we were playing Will Setterfield and freaking Lockie O'Brien, and we've got an actual proper one. And you can see why they played Will Setterfield on the wing, because you want a bigger body there. Blake Acres is a different kettle of fish. 16.2 kilometres run. Insane. And the other guy, high half forward, playing on the wing as well, Matty Cottrell. It's great to see, isn't it? He's one of us out there. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Him and Pom Cotter are 2 of my favourite players to watch playing for the Blues, because it means something to them. It's kind of that intrinsic value, isn't it, that you can't really teach without, you know, being one of the boys and being part of it. And you can see it means 17 touches, the 11 effective kicks. Uses the ball so well, Matty Cottrell, as well. It's an understated part of his game. Sexy footballers get a lot of kudos. So when you're someone like Matt Cottrell who does the basics well, you probably don't get the love and affection that you probably deserve from the greater public. But we know how important Matty Cottrell is. 310 metres gained, 18.2 metres gained per touch. 2 score launches, 7 score involvements, the 4 marks, and they're bold marks as well at times. They're real pressure-breaking marks. And that's what Matt Cottrell does. 17.6 kilometres ran, 17 pressure acts, and the 2 goals. This guy is filth. This guy is filth, and fast becoming a real important pillar for how hard he works. Jacob Whittaker, it's great to see, isn't it? A man that you can tell has gone about his work, never complained, and he's finally in a final. And boy, oh boy, did he step up. The most targeted defender one-on-one in this game. 7 of them, 85.7 one-on-one win rate. That is insane. That is insane in the final. When the pressure is there, it was there. The 6 marks, the 3 intercept marks, the 1 contested mark, the 8 intercept possessions, the 8 spoils, the 18.3 metres gained, 83.3 kicking efficiency. He is a pillar of what Carlton are building down the back, and he is so strong, and the way he uses and peels off, and his IQ is in another level. And him and Sam Taylor for me are by miles the best key defenders in the comp, and both of them in the AA. Maybe someone who picked that team fucking needs to register with the AA for that, but this guy showed his class, and he doesn't need them accolades because he's got us. And without a doubt, he is another level. 5 ground ball gets as well. Works hard on the ground. Whittaker is another level. And his mate, Caleb Marchbank, probably the most controversial of picks this week. A lot of people complained about it. And he paid Voss back with the faith. The 6 marks, the 2 intercept marks, the 1 contested possession, 100% one-on-one win rate, 6 intercept possessions. His attack on the ball, his freedom, and his bold plays were really a highlight. And Marchbank is one of them players that we know how good he is. He got his opportunity and he took it with both mitts. And they're very safe mitts, it has to be said. 2 spoils, 14.3 metres gained. A little bit lower than Whittaker, and you saw he looked to move the chains, which is very hard. 70% kicking efficiency, 3 ground ball gets. And that efficiency there, people criticise it, but he takes the bold plays on. And that's what you've got to do. You're always going to have Whittaker who's going to retain possession. You can see why Voss likes McGovern and Marchbank. They take the hard kicks on. And again, they were sensational. The 2 score involvements, and he worked hard on the ground. He was another player that really stood out. Sammy Walsh. This kid's different. This kid's different. And he finally got to play in a final. And this guy is built for finals. 17 contested possessions. He worked his ass off all week. And shout out to Cripps. Real coming of age that Cripps is probably going through what he did with Judd, with Walsh. There's a baton handing here. That Cripps now is the provider. Walsh is the user. The 6 tackles, tireless running and tireless work rate. Defensively so strong this week. 3 score launches from them stoppage and clearance. Absolutely sensational. 2 rebound 50s, 9 inside 50s, really looking to generate. And he's a little bit different to others, that he gets them deep entries. 6 clearances, 13.9 metres gained. This is where Voss likes these midfielders. They keep turning the chains, giving them give and goes, and that's what he's looking for. The 20 pressure acts, tireless on the ground ball as well. 14, sensational. 7 score involvements, absolutely phenomenal from the boy. Adam Chera worked tirelessly as well. He is becoming a real metronome. He took his goal so well. It was a peach. His playmaking ability. He's got a bit of Andrea Pirlo about him in that midfield. 8 contested possessions. The 7 tackles, a real understated part of his game. No one's talking about it enough for me. His hard work in and around the defensive work is a highlight. And that is a huge improvement. Standout. 1 rebound 55 inside 50s. The 3 clearances. Really played that defensive role. And you can see why Dow wasn't in it with how this midfield worked this week. It was a real yakka type thing. And no one went to go with the bold approach. It was always making sure you were assured and you were using the ball well. 15 pressure acts, 3 ground ball gets, the 7 score involvements. This guy, defensively and offensively, in another level. He was again another player that really looked to take the game on and really control that midfield for the Blues. 13 contested possessions, the 5 tackles, the 3 score launches, the 1 rebound 50, the 4 inside 50s. He was tireless, and he was again that real understated influence of looking to be that physicality and wrestle control when it needed to be in the midfield. The 5 clearances, and him and Cripps were really the backup singers for the midfielders there. They were looking to do the unforgiving work and the tireless work. The 12.8 metres gained, really looking at the ball retention. The 13 pressure acts, the effort indicators, 8 ground ball gets, and the 7 score involvements. Kind of an understated part of George Hewitt's game, them score involvements and how hard he works in that avenue. And at the other end, Adam Saad looking to give that injection. That is where Carlton play their best football, when they can go through the tempo and their ability to slow the game down and then go quick. And Saad is a big point of that. Particularly when the pressure comes, Carlton can be guilty of going too slow. Saad looks to get them going on the front foot. The 23 touches and the 3 tackles, the 11 defensive half pressure acts. That is something that Saad works really hard on. His ability to really put the effort in and to really make it hard, especially against Sydney, who we talked about in the preview. They try and change the angles out short. He was trying to hurry that up and not give them that slow penetrating kick. And that is a huge asset for Saad. His ability to understand moments in games. The 11 intercept possessions, the 5 ground ball gets. Very, very rarely beaten when the ball hits the deck. The 2 score launches, a staggering 22 metres gained. This was a real return per possession. This was a real return to vintage Woof. Saad. 8 rebound 50s, the 5 score involvements, and a staggering 505 metres gained. Ridiculous numbers. And this is a huge part of Sardi's game. And long may it continue. Lockie Fogarty understated this game. 3 tackles inside 50. The 2 inside 50s, the 2 marks. The 27 pressure acts. He was a real metronome. And you can see why Vossi likes this. This is where Carlton really look. And he was the lead of Carlton, of the pressure acts in the game. He was the lead on the ground. Only Chad Warner equalled him. Real hurry people up. And that's the big thing with Sydney. They like to control it out the back half. And Fogg puts that pressure on, makes it hard. It was a great chop out as well. When he went on the ball as well, he adds that. And that reliability and that maturity from him is huge. The 4 ground ball gets, the 3 score involvements, 25% of his touches did become a chance or an opportunity at goal. No goals himself. This is a selfless job from Lockie Fogarty. And that's a huge part and why I really enjoy watching Fogg do what he does. He just does his job. And Voss mentioned role players and how important they are. You can see why he is. Jackie Martin, J Mart, you know he's a fan of mine. I've stuck through this guy through thick and thin. He's constantly been a conversation when Carlton haven't been good. And Jack Martin, he's built for finals. Said it a long time ago. We've finally given him it. The 12 touches, the 75% efficiency, his lead-up work, from deep to give Carlton angle changes should be understated. And let's hope he gets off. It's going to be touch and go, I feel. I feel that the AFL are going to stiff a few sides, particularly with the MightyArd tribunal. That genuinely is ominous if you are also at a tribunal. He plays the game hard, though. It'll be a big loss. I'll be gutted if he's missing. But his pressure work, his ground ball gets, his effort, his goal accuracy, phenomenal this week. Really offering something different. And it always looks to make something happen. 25% of the time he had the ball, something happened. The 1 goal assist, the 2 goals, no behinds. Jack Martin is something different. And the ruck work this week was really strong. I did enjoy Piternet's physicality this week, but I really enjoyed TDK's work around the ground. Really looked to stretch Sydney. The 30 ruck contest this week, 36.7 of them won. Only 9 to advantage, which doesn't really matter, really. They are a team that look to Carlton do feast when we don't have hit-outs to advantage, believe it or not. So we're very good at sharking. We're not very good at getting our own. 3 ground ball gets, though. He dominated on the deck. 4 marks, 1 tackle, 5 clearances. The 2 score launches. His ability to get territory from stoppage isn't understated. The 4 score involvements and his work behind the ball was absolutely strong this week. His ability just to slot down the back and be that extra pair of hands. This was a real understated game from him. Probably won't get the credits that some of the others do, but a real solid game. But all in all, an absolute phenomenal win from the Blues. It was a brilliant, brilliant event to be part of. I had so much fun with you guys and girls. I really enjoyed being a part of it with you, singing my heart out and enjoying it. I can't wait to do it again next week. Enjoy this week, everyone. Thank you very much for the love and support. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to become a member, please do that. It really helps the channel out. Much love. Peace. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's having